Okay, Golden, if you're sure, we'll go and talk to Delphine about it. Come on. Just came in and I think she's sleeping over here, but I don't think she'll mind us waking her up for this. Excuse me, Delphine.
Do you need something?
Yeah, I brought someone to induct into the Blades. Golder's got no other family, and for something to do, so we thought he'd offer you his services.
Are you sure? I'll need to ask them to take an oath to leave their old life behind and stay here from now on.
Well, sure. The Blades need new members.
Very well. He seems like a fighter to me. I'll give him the oath. If you find any more candidates, bring them here.
Yeah.
You there. The Dragonborn wishes to give you the chance to join the Lost Guardians of Tamriel, the Dragon Slayers, the Blades. Do you wish to become a Blade?
I do.
Are you willing to trade away all claims and titles of your former life? To live here and devote yourself to protecting Tamriel from danger?
I do.
Then by my right as acting Grandmaster, I name you a Blade, with all the privileges, rights, and burdens that brings. Godspeed.
Eyes on the hunt.
No, Golder.
By my honor, I pledge to rid Tamriel of dragons.
Yeah. Well, hope you got good luck in your new life here. I should be able to come back and visit you as often as I can, so goodbye for now, my friend. Hope you have some purpose to your life.
Thanks again for your help.
Yeah. Right, let's head out. Let's recruit for a dawn guard.
Are we heading out?
Yes, Daneland. Heading out to find Soreen. Apparently he's in the reach somewhere. According to what Isran told me. Yeah, Golder was talking to Esbjorn for quite a while about the history of the Blades and some Nordic history, and he was fascinated by it all, so he decided to join them, join the ranks. There's nothing else to do in his life. His family's all dead. So he's got some purpose to his life. And the Blades are kind of thin on members, so you can make a valuable guard and fighting member. So let's hope that Soreen's near the last location that Isra knew she was. Right, we're going ask around.
My lady, let me just say it's been an honor to follow someone whose heart plays as sweetly as yours.
Thank you, Daneland. Not so bad yourself. The first thing is to get out of this valley.
That was a good workout.
All kinds of creatures. Okay.
Let's see. It gets better.
Right.
I'm right here.
One boot. Handy for the potions, etc. Right. Should have got the arrow selected. Evening. But now you're in here too long, the place is full of Forsworn. What are they waiting there for? No. Well. Headless Horseman. I think it's Ragnar. Fortunately, we're going this way. Yeah, Danifae had a chance to rest up and have something to eat when she was Skyhaven Temple. That's when Golder decided to stay with the Blades.
I want you sellswords out of my mind.
Watch your tongue, native. We'll leave when we're sure there's no Forsworn here.
Oh, and when would that be, I wonder? When I sell my land to the Silverbloods?
The Silverbloods have made you a very generous offer for this pile of dirt. I suggest you take it.
Dispute over mine ownership, eh?
Ready to move?
Yeah, just wondering what's going on here, Zora. Well, it's not gonna bother him at this time of night. And we'll be back at some point.
What do you need?
Hello.
Until next time.
Silverbloods. Wonder who they are. Sounds like a wealthy family, something like the Blackbriars. I wonder if those two have had dealings. Either way, it seems like it's not a case of the wealthy trying to get one over the poor man. Pretty rugged terrain over here, so. So I don't want to get involved in that little confrontation until I know more about the Silverbloods. When I've been investigating Markarth or Ulfric, then I don't want to tread on too many toes until it's necessary.
What was that?
Lucky.
Who's?
Like the pinch of a mud crab. Stronger with each fight. At least I like to think so.
We've stopped. What is it?
Yeah, no force on these that hills, eh? Where that other one went.
We've stopped. What is it?
Got two of them down there, so. I'll take them for the scales. Right. Yeah, something. What's my shed on there? Let's see. What's the finest sales on something? I'm trying to down to Marshwood Camp. It's apparently got a bunny chief. Okay. Well, we have to wait. I don't know what killed her. Something threw her from the cliff up there. I don't see anybody else around here. I don't sense anybody.
Bas!
Oh, somewhere up there. Could have been them.
Bas!
Patrol should clear off the patrol. No, it's not. It's a bear. Oh, the bear killed her. The troll, it's a bear. She upset the bear and it threw her off the cliff, or she fell down the cliff herself. Anyway. I'll bridge this.
It is true that in Valenwood the cities walk under your feet. There's no such thing as being rooted in the ground.
Ah,
Even the dead are going places.
looks like EJ's information was pretty correct. This could be the people we're looking for. Hello.
Tidings, honoured guest. My name is Beatrice. The raffish companion you see beside me goes by the name of Ursel. The timing of your visit is rather impeccable. Ursel has just secured a fresh skeever which we hope to prepare at the top of the hour. We welcome you to join us in the consumption of this delectable feast.
You're eating rodents? No, even I don't eat them.
Our guest seemed disappointed in the menu. My deepest apologies, I had not anticipated such an
I
outcome.
hate rodents.
Skeever steak is known to be the Vauhignarth of cooked meats, and their tails are a highly regarded delicacy in certain culinary circles. Perhaps our guest would prefer a beverage instead. Parched of throat or parched of mind, our drink will offer the remedy.
Can I ask some questions first?
Oh, forgive me, manners. I am but an erstwhile savage, who only recently gained the powers of articulation.
I set up camp here. I'm looking for someone.
Why, there could be no other place. It has been chosen by serendipity herself.
Who's that?
For I have ventured far across the river, where the rogues known as the Forsworn reside. I was once such a rogue.
Oh? What's the first one? Why did you leave them?
A disagreement over refreshments led to my departure. Verily I was not alone in my thirst, for as I ventured north, another came south. Me associate Urzub was slaving in the mines of Khazgur when a similar thirst afflicted him, and sent him to this location. It is for that reason that I have dubbed this settlement Less Khazgur.
Right. Less Khazgur. Okay, so more Khazgur. Right, okay.
Why, yes. As half the population is still Orc, by rule, it still classifies as a stronghold. More or less.
So what rule do you make that out?
Why, the rule of estimation. If that is cause for confusion, allow this host to offer a guest an example. Take me associate here, who stands roughly 2¼ sword lengths in height. For the sake of
Yes?
brevity, he might tell a stranger he is only 2 sword lengths tall, which does indeed convey his general stature. In this instance, one always rounds to the nearest whole number. Now suppose you are exactly 2.5 sword lengths in height, why his distance from the numbers 2 and 3 would be equal. In this instance, the rules state we choose the next highest round number when making an estimate. The same rule applies to the composition of this settlement.
What would mud crabs want with my satchel anyway?
Oh, there's that can be studied there actually. What's she trying to do?
How about a refreshment?
What exactly do you do here? Do you cook or something?
We are troubadours, celebrators of life. We drink and feast from twilight to cock's crow, in tribute to tradition and song. Many peddlers, hunters and even forsworn will pay good coin for a warm fire, good drink and a verse from the Poetic Edda.
Oh, the Poetic Edda, I've heard about that. Yes.
The Poetic Edda is part of the living history of Skyrim, first passed on orally and then through the written word. From the campfires of memorable days to the taverns of forgotten nights, the poetry is passed on and added to by each generation. And while as our guest, the honour of the first verse is yours, I can fulfil this role in your stead. The choice falls onto you, humble traveller. If the gods bless and the mood strikes, then by all means feel free to recite.
Hearing I ask from the whole races, these can our sons both high and low.
Oh, an excellent rendition. You are truly a bard worthy of passing on the tradition of the Poetic Edda. Perhaps you will critique my own reciting of a similar creation verse.
Where's she going now? Strange.
Are we heading out?
In a minute, I want to talk to these people first. Well, go on then.
Tidings to you, friend.
I thought you were going to do a verse from the Edda, and we're meant to go again.
The choice falls onto you, humble traveller. If the gods bless and the mood strikes, then by all means feel free to recite.
Awake. Go on, you quote the verse.
Certainly. I hope my recital does this piece justice. Of old was the age when Anu lived. No earth, nor wind, nor sea was there. There were no stars, nor sky above, nor clouds to grey the weather fair. Padme sought to give birth to life from the nothing of nowhere. Yet all Anu did was yawn and belch like a bag of empty air. Alone in the dark she shouted to silence, and silence answered her call. For it's death and emptiness who in the end is the true father of all. When Sithis spoke the cold was warm, and gods were given birth. And when we leave this mortal coil, it's to Sithis that we return.
Well, that was pretty good. The Poetic Edda lives on then.
As our most timely and honoured guest, it is not my place to disagree, nor will I deny any other flattery you wish to send my way.
So what's these refreshments you keep referring to? You got mead.
For our honoured guest, we have the cleanest refreshments this world has to offer, although I cannot speak for the next. Now, when I say clean, I hope I am not misrepresenting the potency of our drink, as I am referring to a very specific type of clean.
A specific type of clean.
Well, the word clean can be defined in a variety of ways. There's clean like the Carth River, and clean like the smell of a brisk summer breeze. There is clean like the white of a freshly washed tunic, or clean like the inside of a recently scrubbed cauldron. Whether it is a clean towel, a clean river or a clean shave, the difference is in the surface.
How does that relate to drinks?
Well, one might say clean refreshment and clean taste come when a drink washes smoothly over the surface of your tongue. The refreshments we have gathered, on the other hand, seek to clean the surface of the mind. It can be imbibed or inhaled, smoked or suckled, but the result is the same. Crystal clarity.
Smoked and inhaled, are we talking about skooma here?
Azub and I prefer to not use that term, as it is most derogatory. We prefer the term refreshment. After all, there is nothing negative about drinking a potion that allows you to stare into the face of the divines. There, one can inquire about everything, from the meaning of life to the time of day. For the inquisitive man, this can lead to entirely new avenues of creativity to explore.
How does skooma make me more creative?
Why, by cleansing our guests of the banal. Imagine every boring thought stranded in your mind, washed away by a tide of concentrated joy. While others hope for the improbable and dream the impossible, when your mind is cleansed of preconception, the impossible will dream of you.
Impossible will dream of me.
That's right. I ask you, traveller, when was the last time you dared to think of that which cannot be? In the time between this sentence and the last, I have witnessed two such fantastical events.
What events?
Behind you, I saw a bear dressed in Thalma robes, trained to sniff out Talus worshippers. In the curve of its eyes, I saw the future, where the septum had been replaced by pieces of coke as Tamriel's most commonly traded currency. Perhaps our guest would like to give it a try. Simply clear your mind and envision one impossible thing.
The bards of Solitude will find their way to turn poetry into a weapon.
Our guest does realise that words are already a weapon of war, and that this scenario is not only probable but likely. This host politely suggests that you ingest 3 bottles of refreshment before attempting again.
So where did you learn to speak so well?
Why, dear guest, it was not more than 20 paces from where you stand. If this answer perplexes you, allow me to recount the events that transpired. I had recently absconded from Drudat Redat with 2 bottles of refreshment on my person when I arrived at the bank of the river. Viewing the campfire in proximity of the dwarven ruin, I attempted to cross the feral current, warily dipping my toes into its mouth. The water was as cold as it was irritable, so I decided to abandon this pursuit, given that I am not well versed in the swimming craft. Yet, no sooner did I turn around than a great big dragon swept overhead, the force of which catapulted me into the water. I fought the current, kicking and gulping, and in my tantrum I managed to wedge my leg between 2 rocks.
Ooh.
It was rather embarrassing, but I took some consolation in the fact that I was not the first to drown in such an inglorious manner.
You weren't alone?
No, for laying in the rock beside me was a skeletal fellow, more bones than skin and more clothes than bone. He seemed to have died from a fracture to the skull, and his lifeless body was nestled comfortably beside me. Meanwhile, Azub, having witnessed my folly, rushed to the river to rescue me, but I could only stare at the corpse in the river. Then I noticed his right hand seemed to glimmer like a bauble, which makes sense as he was clutching one. I reached for the bauble just as Azub reached for me. He forced me out of the river like a bear swatting a salmon. When I first spoke to Azub, I didn't recognise the words, for there were none that I'd ever acquainted myself with before.
Songs can be an
The
important
bauble,
tool
you
of
see,
political
was
sense.
not a bauble,
So they could say,
but an amulet of articulation.
Oh, okay.
as for who says it, well, it's
So what's with Urzub anyway?
Azub is a fine host, and it is by virtue of his hunting skill that we are blessed with this current feast. Unfortunately, he is far less loquacious than I, especially in the presence of new guests.
Yeah, I found that with orcs.
However, our guests might find that after a bottle of refreshment and some time by the campfire, the words flow faster than the cart itself.
Was that a bottle of Mogul's mead I saw in the barrel back there?
You have a meticulous eye, traveller.
For me,
Yet
yes.
to answer your query, I must first tell you a story. There was once a peddler from elsewhere who sought to bring a barrel of the finest refreshments to his cousin in Skyrim. Unfortunately, those who governed the Empire frowned upon the imbibing of clean, savoury drinks. Undaunted, he sought to smuggle them inside bottles of a popular brand of mead, brewed by a local man named Morgo. However, the choice proved to be his downfall, for the guards quickly confiscated his wagon.
Well, I found that guards can be as corrupt as any thief. I bet they stole it.
Your assumption is correct. These guards were acting in their own interests.
So what happened after the guards confiscated the mead then?
They drank it.
Oh.
They say not a throat was dry that night. From the tavern to the Jarl's longhouse, palates were washed and minds were cleansed. And from the womb of that infinite revelry came a flash of inspiration, a paroxysm of melody and song. The bottles we store at this camp represent a harking back to that day, to the true spirit of the bard's tune.
So the bards who sing Mogul's mead know about this story.
If they are true students of history, they would. Alas, these days people confuse the erudite with the recondite and the artful with the arcane. However, it seems you are the one with the unquenchable thirst for knowledge. That is why only you can restore Morgo's mead to its true glory. I foresee a great quest, a reckoning with you at the centre.
Wait, they still brew Mogul's mead in Skyrim.
It is with much regret I say, doubtful. For the mead wars have claimed many in our time and times past. The great whale, Maven Blackbriar, has swallowed barrel after brewery, and still her appetite is nothing short of rapacious.
I agree on that.
However, the popularity of the song Morgo's Mead persists, and now even the whale has conceded there is profit in another brand's name.
So you're saying that Maven Blackbriar plans on introducing a line of Mogul's mead?
Yes. In fact, word has travelled to our ears of a party to unveil the drink under the whale's banner. They plan to replicate the original recipe, but alas, not the recipe that inspired the song. This travesty of justice must be rectified immediately, and that is the quest I would have you endure.
I agree something must be done to restore the dignity of Mogul's mead.
It is not just the past but the future that hangs in the balance. We honour not only history, but we inspire the poets and bards of the age to come. That is why you must dive towards the depths of the Blackbriar Meadery and remove the barnacles that dull the mind.
Right.
Take this case and replace the one in their cellar. Transform their dire drudgery into the drink of the divines.
Okay. Interesting.
Yes?
Right. That's something I could do against Maven for sure. Definitely something I'll be looking into.
I'm right here.
No. What is on it? Oh, it's got to see for himself.
Like B said, we're having rats for dinner. You in or out?
I'm not keen on eating rats.
Suit yourself. This last batch didn't taste so good anyway. Like it wasn't even there. Something wrong with my tongue, I guess. Or my nose. There's some drifter I met once. Said you had to smell food to taste it. Thought he was mad, until I took another swig. Then I realized he was a genius.
Yes, it's true.
In any case, couple more bottles did the trick. Might do the same for you. But if you don't like what you see, I suggest you leave. I'm not what you call a patient orc. I don't put up with loiters the way B does.
Where are you from?
I hail from more Khazgur,
Right.
a stronghold to the north of
That's
here.
what B said.
Used to work the mines with Gol and Gamors. Good people, bad miners. I brought Shuftar's twice as much ore as the two of them put together. But the stronghold only values strength with a sword, and not a pickaxe. So, instead of passing my ore off to Shuftar's and Oler, I stashed half of it away in one of the barrels outside the mine.
You still need someone to fence it, though.
Me and this Khajiit peddler, you see, we came to an arrangement. I leave him ore, he leaves me skooma. Worked out pretty well at first. Only, the furball got greedy. He wanted me to smelt the ore into ingots. Said it was easier to move. Except it takes 2 pieces of ore to make an ingot. And I don't know the first thing about smelting. The peddler called me a liar, and threatened to tell Chief Larak about our arrangement. So, I decided to make a new arrangement between his head and my pickaxe.
Right. I think it wouldn't take too kindly to that. Well, I bet that worked out great for one of you.
No, it didn't work out for either of us. Sure, he was dead, but so was my skooma dealer. First day off the potion, and I caught a bad case of rattles. My body wouldn't move right. Sure as hell couldn't swing my pickaxe. Ended up dropping the head right on my big toe. I'm sure if I didn't flee the stronghold, I would have been kicked out, useless as I was.
Well, you certainly appear to be a capable fighter, Orzub.
Sure, orcs tend to look like them. Fighters. Chief Larak, he was a fighter. Fought for the Legion once. Give him a sword, and he'll clip the wings off a fly right before he shaves its bottom. Only now, I hear he's parading around a stronghold in some fur diaper. Doesn't even bother to wear armor. Mostly because I'm wearing it. Now, I got nothing against the chief. But I wasn't gonna go out into the wilderness without some steel.
I imagine you... Yeah, I can imagine the chief would be too happy with that, but I admire your boldness for doing that. Especially against an orc chief. So you fled Khazgur and set up camp here.
That's right. Day and night my body was shaking. And I didn't know if it was from the cold or the withdrawal. Couldn't start a fire to find out. So what I did was, I went up on that hill and waited for one of them pyromancers. Figured if I got him to chase me, maybe one of his stray firebolts might strike the logs. At least, it sounded like a good idea at the time.
Yeah. You can set fire to the whole damn hillside. What happened next?
Nearly burned down the whole camp before I got my steel in 'em.
Yeah.
Trying to salvage my things, I turned my helm into a bucket and went for the river. That's when I caught sight of a dainty Breton girl with 2 bottles of purple nectar sticking out of her pockets.
Right. Go on.
Now, my eyesight isn't that great, but I can spot a bottle of skooma from 40 leagues away. I nearly tore my own sausage off when the girl got spooked by her own shadow and fell in the river. You'd think she saw a dragon or something. So, I dove in after her. I said to oblivion with the camp. 2 bottles of moon drink were on the line. And that's how I met B.
Yeah. So, the refreshment music is referring to. I think I know what you're talking about.
Skooma. Poison, basically. Although that doesn't make it much different from the kind they serve at the inn. Not that they should serve it. Skooma's got a little more bite than mead or ale. By Malakath, it'll take a chunk of your mind and your coin purse if you aren't careful. But for some folks, it doesn't do either. Just look at me. I can put half a dozen bottles down and not have the urge for another. I must have been a fur walker in my past life. Same with B. They say skooma will make you dumber than a mud crab. Wouldn't know it by listening to her. Won't stop using all them fancy words.
I think Beatrice is fun, like a walking talking copy of Withershins.
Huh. Then by all means, stay. She thinks we're all some band of troubadours, singing songs and acting plays and reciting poetry. There aren't enough skooma bottles in all of Mundus to make that sound interesting. And half of them are in that barrel.
Where does all this skooma come from?
That's something I've been wondering myself, seeing as we only started with but 2 bottles. Except now we got enough to fill a brewery, and I have no idea where it all came from. I asked B, and she says it was a gift from the dwarves. So, seeing as we're sitting on top of this ruin, I thought it might have something to do with that dwarven box over there. But the other day I put a bottle and a few pieces of gold in there, just to see what would happen. And nothing. My guess is she has a separate stash lying around here, but hasn't told me where. She probably thinks I'd kill her if I knew the location. Smart girl.
Right. Anything you want to ask me?
Well, now that you mention it, there is. Do you by chance know magic? As in, fire spells and things like that?
Sorry, I'm not really a destruction user, so I can't help you there.
Can't help or don't want to. I suppose it doesn't make much difference, because I don't like you regardless.
Well, it wasn't thought.
B told me something the other day, and now I can't get it out of my head. She said, ever notice how the word bed is shaped like one? Is that true? I don't know how to read.
Right.
Fine.
Okay. Northern box, what the hell are you talking about? Sweet.
I think we're running out of refreshments. Maybe you ought to go get some more.
Do not fret me, associate. The barrel is stocked and the beverages are cold.
Well, you can never have enough. I mean, if it's too much trouble, maybe I can pick it up for you.
There are many things in this world worth fighting
Unwarranted
for.
is, or
Some are moved by
as
their
long as I am
hearts,
here, our
others
throats will
by their
never
heads.
go dry.
Fine. Have it your way. You always do.
Smart girl, eh? Yeah. Oh, wasn't it? Interesting book. Smooth. Okay. Oops.
Ears up. I dare say it is an opportune time for a song.
Fine.
I'm gonna sing, is he?
They say the best mead is made from the sweetest honey. However, a discerning palate knows there is only one ingredient far sweeter than honey. To the locals, it is known as moon sugar. This is a tribute to the most delectable refreshment in all of Skyrim, Morgoth's mead. Myself a maiden fair with emerald eyes and fire red hair. She owned a tavern by the sea and served warm drinks of mellow honey. Drinky merry, drinky thirsty, bring thy crew and revel freely. For one thing we're all agreed, that Mogo made the finest mead. Mogo's mead, the only drink we'd ever need. Take a flask and take a seat, and drink thyself a sweetie treat.
Well. Yes, I take it you're sorry in Gerard, are you?
You haven't seen a sack full of dwarven gyros lying around, have you? I'd swear I left it right here. Do you think mud crabs might have taken it? I saw one the other day. Wouldn't be surprised if it followed me here. Well, just look around, will you?
Oh. Here, because Isran asked me to find you.
Isran? Wants me? No, you must be mistaken. He made it exceedingly clear the last time we spoke that he had no interest in my help. I find it hard to believe he's changed his mind. He said some very hurtful things to me before I left.
Yeah, but...
Anyway, I'm quite happy in my current pursuits. So if you'll excuse me...
You had a falling out?
Yes, that was my point. I felt it was rather clear. Look, what is it you want from me?
Well, Isran's back at Fort Dungard, and vampires threaten all of Skyrim. He and I need your help.
Vampires? Really? Oh, and I suppose now he remembers that I proposed no less than 3 different scenarios that involved vampires overrunning the population. Well, what are they up to?
Well, for one thing, we've got an Elder Scroll.
Well, that's actually something I never would have anticipated. Interesting. I'm not sure what they would do with one, but in this case, Isran is probably correct in thinking it isn't good. All right. If nothing else, I suppose it wouldn't hurt to learn more about what's going on so I can better defend myself. But I'm not just going to abandon what I've been working on here. It's too useful. I need at least one intact dwarven gyro. So either I need to find the satchel those mud crabs stole, or I need another gyro from someplace. You wouldn't happen to have one, would you?
Don't have any gyros on me.
Well, then I'm very sorry, but I can't just walk away from this project yet.
Right, see if I can find this satchel for you then.
Until next time.
For goodness sake. Well, if it's mud crabs, then we're down by the shore. Okay.
Just one gyro. One, and I can get back to work. Where are they?
Well, it's only your help, but...
I understand that, but I really can't leave here without at least one usable piece of dwarven equipment. A single gyro would be enough, I think. Believe me, this is useful stuff.
Here, found those, found your satchel down by the riverbank. Take them.
Thank you. It's not much, but this will help a great deal with some things I've been researching. Now, where is it Isran expects me to go?
Fort Dongard.
Ah, been working more on his secret hideout, has he? It'll be interesting to see how much progress he's made. I'll finish up here and head in that direction as soon as I can. See you there.
Right, okay.
Good day.
Thank you, Serene. Well... we'll rest for a minute or two. Drink the Northmead, not the Blackbriar mead, I think. And I'll find out and set out and try and find this other guy. That's fine.